gamers, and I have just finished watching the Microsoft briefing at E3 this year, the Xbox briefing no less at E3 this year. And what can I say? I watched E3 last year and Microsoft bombed, in my opinion, last year. They did nothing to show off why I should be spending £300, £400, whatever, on a Xbox One. They just did a lot of remakes. That was just my opinion though. I didn't really voice it at the time, but never mind. This year, wow, that's my only term for it. I've got pages of notes to go through, but I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. They opened up with Halo 5 Guardians. Now, I'm not the biggest Halo fan in the world. I do own pretty much every single Halo, to be fair, from 1 through to 4, plus the other bits that came out. But oh my god, does this game look fun. It's got drop-in, drop-out co-op play, and you're led by one of 2 Spartan Chiefs. The fact that you can do that is phenomenal. I've played co-op games before where when you play on Xbox Live you need a friend to be with you at all times, and if you're not on the same schedule then you can't complete that game, and you kind of have to. But to have drop-in, drop-out co-op, that is going to be awesome. I mean, we're going to be able to just sit there and then message up a friend, I'm jumping in, get in here. And the maps, they're boasting larger multiplayer maps, and graphically it looked phenomenal. They had like a live demo on stage, and graphically it looked superb. I mean, we expect no less. It's the new gen, it's this generation, it's the best we've ever had it, and the best probably we'll ever see for a while. I don't see how graphically they can improve it. I mean, most of the games shown look like videos nowadays, so where do we go from here? But the other thing I like that they're changing to multiplayer is not only is it PvP now, you have mobs, you have AI mobs on screen as well. So I was just like, holy crap, that's going to add a brand new technique to playing this game. No longer is it red team versus blue team. I've got to deal with the guy sniping me from 300 yards away, plus the 5 enemy mobs in front of me who are not controlled by anybody other than the computer. It's all about managing what you've got, your ammo. It just looked frantic, fun. To be fair, it looked a heap of fun. I think I could be losing a fair few hours in that game if and when I get an Xbox One. They then showed Recore, which looks stunning. It's made from the makers of Metroid Prime, which is a fantastic game, as we all know. It looked interesting. I wanted to see more on this, actually, to be fair. This is the bit I thought, oh, you could have shown me a bit more there. The teaser was good, but I did want to see a bit more. But from what I've seen of Recall, it's an Xbox One exclusive, and it looks good. It looks like it could be a really fun game. I will put as many links as I can below to the notable games of choice, just so you guys can have a look for yourself. But I think it looks kind of fun. I'd have liked to have seen more though. They didn't really go too far into it. They just basically showed a trailer and that was it. Next was some massive news. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, came out and basically announced that he's been listening to consumers, and one thing they've always wanted is the Xbox One to be backward compatible. He demonstrated this by playing Mass Effect on stage on an Xbox One. I mean, this is huge. One of the things that drew people into the last generation, I believe, and one thing that Sony have always done well, is they've had backwards compatibility on their machines. Even up to the PS3. I mean, the PS3, the early ones, could go all the way back to PlayStation 1 games. And Xbox 360 could play a majority of the original Xbox games. So I was a bit sort of, not miffed, but I didn't understand why the current gen didn't go backwards compatible, because there are still games on the 360 that I play. I don't own an Xbox One at the moment, I don't own a PS4 at the moment, but I still very much play my Xbox 360. Now, if I wasn't a collector and I was going to trade those games in, there are a few games there that I think, oh, I really don't want to lose them. I wouldn't want to lose Skyrim. Wouldn't want to lose the Mass Effects. Wouldn't want to lose some of the Fallouts that I own. I wouldn't want to lose... There are a few games in there that I constantly go back to, and it's kind of like, it wasn't backwards compatible, and it was kind of like, ugh. So, if I wasn't a collector and I wanted to trade my Xbox 360, I'd have to lose those games, because it's pointless keeping those games if they're not backwards compatible, if I haven't got the machine to play them on. Now that's not a problem. For anyone out there who has got a 360 collection and has been hanging on to it, basically trying to save money to buy an Xbox One because there's 4 or 5 games in their collection that they really don't want to give up playing, this solves the problem. It sounds like it's going to be a stage release where there's certain games at present that we can play, and then as time progresses, more and more will be added to the list of backwards compatibility. They then had names. They showed some images and a video of the Xbox Elite wireless controller. Now, this kind of just looked like all the Pro controllers you see and all the modded controllers you see everywhere for like £80–90 that you can buy and have any shelves put on. It's got customisable buttons, 4 back buttons at the back, hair trigger switches, and you can change the joysticks to more comfortable ones, I presume. Again, they were kind of hazy. They just showed a video and just said it's to make it the best it can be. They brought out Todd Howard then from Bethesda, and they showed more of Fallout 4. Now, last night's Fallout 4 was brilliant, and it is the first and only game I'm probably ever going to pre-order. They showed more of the combat, which looks absolutely phenomenal. A lot of depth, a lot of detail in there. But one of the big things they've announced is the mods created on a PC can be shared and played on the Xbox One, and that will be free. I'm not big into the modding scene, solely because I'm not a PC gamer at heart. I've played World of Warcraft, which is about it. But I know there's a massive community of modders out there, and I think this is pretty good, to be fair. I think this is a step in the right direction for consoles. I mean, everyone has the argument about the PC master race, and they have all this and all that. At the end of the day, I'm a gamer at heart, and I will play what I want to play, and I like what I want to like. But I think the fact that they're opening the doors to Microsoft having access to, like, obviously Windows 10 and that sort of thing, and they're making it all compatible with each other, I think that's a step in the right direction, and it's moving forward with the advances in the technology that we have. So I was quite excited to see that announcement, to be honest with you, that if I get Fallout 4 and I get an Xbox One, I can play PC mods. Again, Fallout 4 is the reason I'm going to be going next gen. There's no two ways about it. I've already decided I'm pre-ordering that game to get the Pip-Boy. It all depends on what. Now I'm waiting for Sony's conference later on, and that's pretty much where I'll be making the decision, I think. And I'll be getting one or the other sooner rather than later, but I will be getting both. Definitely getting both this generation, because there is games on the PS4 that I already want to play. EA came out then and basically spoke about EA Access, and they've added Titanfall to it, and Dragon Age Inquisition's coming soon, and they've opened the vault for the week of E3 free to Xbox One subscribers. I'm not sure what I think about EA Access, to be honest with you. It's one of those, I don't really know enough about it to discuss it, so I'm kind of just going to leave that there, if I'm truthful. I don't know enough about it. I don't play a lot of EA games, if I'm honest with you, but then again, I've got EA's press conference coming up, so we'll see what they announce there. One thing I was interested from the EA piece on the Xbox conference was Plants vs Zombies and Garden Warfare 2. Now, I've had a ton of fun with my kids on the very first Garden Warfare. Excuse me. And from what you're saying, they're introducing new characters, new classes, and that's due to come out in spring 2016. Now, I'm expecting EA to announce more at their conference, which is in a few hours' time after the Microsoft one. So, kind of excited to see that, actually, to be fair, because I kind of brought Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 1 for the kids on the Xbox, and we had a ton of fun on it. I remember I stayed up one night till like 3 AM, and you could tell it was just us dads playing it, because there was about 4 of us on each map, but we were still having a heap of fun. So, kind of looking forward to seeing what that's all about and seeing where we go from there. Then, all of a sudden, appearance of a Ford GT car, which can only mean one thing. I pretty much called it straight away as soon as I saw it. This is the new Forza. It looked absolutely stunning, to be fair. They had Henry Ford Henry Ford III, sorry, from Ford on stage. Graphically, it looks phenomenal. It's got real-world locations, and you can see where they are virtually straight away. If you know even one iota about geography, you can see the landmarks and pick out where it is. It's going to be 24 car multiplayer, which I'm not a massive racing fan. I own Forza 4. I have played Forza 1 when it originally came out, and the only real car game that I play and have played a heap of is Burnout 3 Takedown, and that was only because of the online community at the time on the original Xbox was phenomenal. So it'd be interesting to see where this goes, because it takes a lot for a racing game to pique my interest, and the graphics on this kind of made me want to play it. Whether it would be something I'd got on release date would be another thing, because I'm not that desperate to play it, but it just looks like one of those games I need to experience. So I'm excited to see more about it, to be honest with you. The footage they showed sort of left you sort of like, that's good, that's just brilliant, that just shows you where the graphics have come. They then showed a trailer which actually looked like a movie, and I was like, what the hell is this? This is fantastic. And it's coming early 16, and it was a teaser trailer for Dark Souls 3. Now, I've just ordered Dark Souls, the original, I know, late, solely on the back of watching a friend of mine stream it on Twitch, because it looks like a game I could really lose some hours in and get probably stupidly frustrated with it. And I did a bit of research, and it got voted like the 9th hardest game ever. I mean, come on, we had Nintendo back in the day where there was no save slots and they were virtually impossible, and this got voted 9th, and it's got save slots. Interesting to play it. I must admit, seeing the trailer for Dark Souls 3 makes me want to play the series, so I know what's going on and where I'm up to. Again, I would have liked to have seen more, but it's not coming out till early 2016, so I imagine that they are holding their cards close to their chest for that, for a later release later on in the year. So we shall see where that goes, and I will definitely be keeping my eye out for news on Dark Souls 3. Then Lauren Decaux came out to speak about Tom Clancy's The Division. Very tired people. The Division. There's going to be an Xbox One exclusive beta on December 15th. December 15th of this year, obviously, December 2015. Still don't know a lot about this, but we've got Ubisoft's press release later on today after the EA one, so I imagine we're going to be seeing a bit more about that there. Didn't really go into it. They showed a bit more. They showed the trailer and sort of left it at that, and it just looked really good. It looks like it could be a heap of fun. He then went on to speak about Rainbow Six: The Siege, and it's going to come with Vegas and Vegas 2 free with The Siege on Xbox One. This looks really fun. It's due out October this year, and I must admit this looks a heap of fun. It's 5v5 fights, but for the first time ever, scenery is destructible, so you can blow this wall up behind me and shoot me from behind if that's what you wish to do. And it's going to open up a whole new form of gameplay. The only downside, I'd like to see some gameplay of it, to be fair, to see how it works and how reliable it is on co-op, because I've played co-op missions on Xbox Live with people that aren't friends, just random strangers, and it's not pretty. But again, the Ubisoft conference is later, so hopefully we're going to see a lot more of that. The next one was a bit of a weird one. They showed something called Gigantic, very cartoony graphics, but it looked really good. It looked really interesting to play. It looked a bit like how Wind Waker first looked when it came out on the good old GameCube. It was a bit like, this looks beautiful. It just looked gorgeous, and again, they kind of skirted around it. It's the beta's due out August this year, and if I've got an Xbox One, I'd be definitely trying to get onto that, because it does look like a whole heap of, it just, I can't explain it. I'll put the link to the trailer below, and you let me know what you think of it, because I thought it looked stunning. And don't know. It's the whole conference just left me sort of like, wow, Microsoft, you've done yourself proud there. They showed like a whole montage of indie games like, for the ID at Xbox. Some of the nerd ones was Tacoma, that's coming in 2016. Check that out, guys. YouTube Tacoma, it looks really good. Beyond Eyes, this looks fairly interesting. It's very watercolory effect, and your main protagonist is blind, and you can only they didn't really go into detail how it plays, but you can only see like on the screen at one time. It's a wide screen with just a selection around you. Now I don't know if you're using sort of like a stick, or maybe you've got some kind of like Daredevil type power, but you can't see beyond probably what in game world is about 6 feet either around you, and this could be really fun. Puzzling it out could be amazing. I mean, if you've got to go from A to B, but in between A to B there's a million objects, and you walk around one corner and you've got to trace your way back. This has potential to be a fantastic game, and it looks like a painting. It's watercolours, and it looks visually stunning. Again, I'm going to link the trailer. If I can find the trailer, which I'm pretty sure GameSpot or IGN would have broken them all down into trailers by the time this goes up, I'll link them below and check it out. It looks amazing. And then the last bit of the indie dev that caught my eye was Cuphead. It's got the look of a 1930s Mickey Mouse style cartoon, but they said it's got the feel of a 16-bit platformer. Now this is right on my street. I love old school cartoons. I was always a fan of the old school cartoons like Tom and Jerry, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck growing up. And as you know from my channel, I love retro gaming, and 16-bit platformers are my thing. I love platforming games. So this has got me very excited to see what else they can do with it and where it goes. I must admit, I'm quite looking forward to seeing more on Cuphead. The bit they showed looked phenomenal, and again, trailer will be below, guys. Right, this is big. Rise of Tomb Raider, the sequel to last year's Tomb Raider. From what I can gather, is an Xbox exclusive. This is massive. How they've managed to prize this from Sony's paws, I don't know. They showed some gameplay and it looked brilliant. They showed it takes off from where the last Tomb Raider left off, and expands on it. So we get to see Lara in her Tomb Raider gear, shall we say, and it's gone from learning the craft to her now doing this as a job, as a want of a better word. But it looks like it's going to have the same sort of gameplay dynamics, where it's action adventure platforming RPG type game, but with like the real time events where you end up sliding down a hill and you have to go left and right, which from the last one having completed it gets really frustrating, but I can kind of understand why they've done it, because it was so well received. That's a bloody fly. That's due out November 10 this year, and it's going to be on Xbox 360 as well. So although this is massive that it's an Xbox exclusive, the fact that I'm getting it on 360 is not going to push me to get an Xbox One. But from what I've seen from the whole entire conference so far, Xbox are looking very strong in the coming year, and I can't state that enough. This is phenomenal. They have got Rare, and they're doing a Rare anniversary game collection, 30 games in one collection. And the notable ones that I saw as they were doing this whole sort of screenshot: Banjo-Kazooie, Battletoads, RC Pro-Am, Digger T-Rock, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Now I'm hoping that Conker's Bad Fur Day is going to be not Conker Reloaded, but the actual original Conker's Bad Fur Day. So that's what I'm hoping for there. It's a 30 game collection on one disc. It's due out August this year, and it's going to have a massive 10,000 gamer score. Now that's an Xbox One exclusive. Although I collect retro games and I've got Digger T-Rock and I can pick up RC Pro-Am, Cheapest Chips, Banjo-Kazooie, Battletoads, I think the convenience of having it on one disc on a HD TV would make me get that game. It looks beautiful. It looks like a good thing to have. As it's Rare's 30th anniversary, I presume that's why they're releasing that, and it's on Xbox One, and it looks like it could be a really fun collection. I mean, I've got the Genesis collection, well, Mega Drive collection, sorry, on the Xbox 360, and that's always fun to click on and play. And I think this is where this is going to lie. It's going to be one of those games where you sort of put it on, sit and play it, and you can lose yourself for a few hours in some retro gaming. Rare have also showed Sea of Thieves, which looks like a pirate adventure game. I'm all for pirates. I think pirates are amazing. So, again, I would like to see more on that, but I can understand why. They crammed so much into their conference. I can understand why they were only given a short slot, and they showcased the anniversary 30 game pack first. But they showed some gameplay of the Sea of Thieves, and it looks fun. There's massive ship battles, and I imagine there's hand-to-hand combat in there as well. Again, hoping to see some more of that very soon, or some news maybe. I mean, I just stick glued to Rare's websites and forums around the world, and again, I'll link as much as I can down below so you guys can check it out for yourself if you did miss the conference. Fable Legends is coming. That's going to be free to play. From what I can gather as well, it's going to be the first game where PC and Xbox players can play together. I really wanted a Fable 4. I'm a massive fan of the series. 3 took a bit of a downward turn, but it was still a really, really good good game in my opinion, and I'd like to see Fable 4. I really hope we see a Fable 4. It's a brilliant Microsoft exclusive franchise, so I'm hoping to see more of that, and I'm hoping maybe next year, guys, we see Fable 4, but we're going to have to wait and deal with Fable Legends at the moment. They went on to the Oculus Rift then, basically saying that the Xbox One games, Xbox One controller and Xbox One games will play on Oculus Rift streaming through Windows 10. And Microsoft are also releasing a HoloLens, and they demoed this with a phenomenal version of Minecraft that is created for HoloLens. And you can see the world in 3D. The guy looked at the table and his Minecraft world came up in his face, and it looked brilliant. You can pick it up and you can look underneath. You can voice command it, play like in a God mode. It looked like a heap of fun. The only thing that worries me about stuff like this is it a gimmick like the Kinect was? I'd like to see developers take this and run with it. I mean, I'd love to play an RPG with a HoloLens where I could just walk around and be who I wanted to be, using possibly a use for the Kinect to get my body movement. So I've got my eyes and my hood in front of me, and we can only dream. But I'm definitely going to link the Microsoft Minecraft demo down below, because it was one of those ones I got the kids in to see. Come look at this, kids, you Minecraft fans. And they sat there with me, and they were just like, holy cow, can we get one? And I'm like, we don't know a price, we don't know a release, we just know it's going to be good. So we shall see. There's going to be a remastered version of Gears of War, completely remastered in 1080p. And it's a remastered game again. I'm not a fan of remakes and remasters. I think if you want to play the game, you should get the original. But I understand why they do it, because there are people out there who don't own an original Xbox. I don't mind having remakes and remasters from way back in the day. For example, if they remade the original, like they've remade the original Resident Evil, haven't they? That's not too bad, although they have remade it twice. Now I understand that, but when there's a game that's only a few years old on your last gen console that still looks pretty good to this day, why remaster it? Especially now they've made Xbox 360 backwards compatible. I can play Gears of War, which I already own, in the near future on my Xbox One. Why would I drop £30 on a completely remastered version? But that's just my opinion. They then cut to an amazing scene with the co-op play. Looks very much survival horror-ish, and then it came up with Gears 4. Now, I played Gears of War 1. I played Gears of War 3, I didn't do 2. I thought number 1 was much better than number 3, solely because of the vibe and the atmosphere it gave off. Gears of War 4 looks to me like it's gone back to that, and it looks phenomenal. Again, guys, check it out for yourself. I cannot wait for Gears 4. It's made me want to go back and replay Gears 1. And that's where Microsoft ended their conference. They ended it on a high, and it basically went up all the way through. It was an amazing press conference. It completely blew it out of the water from last year. And it blew my mind, and it gave me a lot to think about. I mean, I was pretty sure that they were going to struggle again this year. I don't know why. I think last year's was such a disappointment, and from what I've seen and what they've been releasing on the Xbox One, nothing's gone, oh yeah, you need to go out and buy an Xbox One. This, for me, kind of did. I was just like, I don't know where I stand now. And like I said, I'm going to wait for the Sony conference to see what they've got to release. But I'm telling you now, guys, Sony have got a lot to do to catch up with this. So yeah, all the links below to as many as I can find. And that's it for now from me, guys. We've got EA and Ubisoft and Sony coming later on today, so there will be videos of me for that. So I'm sorry for clogging up your newsfeed in the last couple of days, but E3 just gets me really excited every year, and I figured, as I now own a YouTube channel and was doing fairly well, I'd put my thoughts on video. So until later, guys, take care.